Hello everyone, in today's video I'll be explaining the art of maneuvering. This is a match between me and Alexander the Great, a renowned and quite good player. We have similar compositions, which is why I chose this match. Now, when we start off, you're gonna see me deploying my cavalry in the center. Now, the reason you want to deploy your cavalry in the center is that you want to be able to maneuver them whenever you need them. So if I place my cavalry over here, but he places cavalry over here, and I wanted to use my cavalry to counter his cavalry, I would have to walk all the way from here over here. Now, instead of that, I can just maneuver it over here or over here. So it does sacrifice a bit of time for, let's say, if he deployed here and I deployed in the middle, I would have to walk here. But it's worth it 90% of the time. You don't want to take these risks. Now, you are going to see me deploy my artillery on this area and on this area. The reason I chose this is one, there is a forest over here to protect my artillery. So that means his artillery shots are going to be ineffective because there's a forest, while mine are going to be 100% effective against all units in this area. The second place I chose to place my artillery is over here. You can see there's a little hill over here. It's very good. It allows me to shoot at him from a very good and fortified position. And there's a town behind it, so if I need to, I can always retreat here. It also prevents him from shooting my troops on the bottom, which cover the artillery, and it's a very good location overall. Now, he does have a better location, arguably, than me. He has two very large hills connected, and he can place his artillery on them, and it would be a very, very hard defensive position to crack, which is what he does. For the rest of the game, he's going to hold around this area, and this is mostly just me maneuvering around him to break him. So let's start the match. You're going to see me moving my troops over here to secure the hill, this area, and this area. Now at the start he does have the edge because his artillery is very concentrated and I'm busy moving my artillery to the positions to which I want. So you're going to see me take a lot of damage here to my infantry. Now another mistake you can see me doing here, which is a really bad mistake, is having my infantry together. Now the reason this is a big mistake is there is an area of damage for artillery, and since he shoots the center over here, he is hitting 3 units at the same time for the cost of only 1 shot. So you're going to see me later in the game separate my units a bit, fix my mistake, and learn from it. So later in the game, I'm going to split my units a bit more. You're going to see there's more space between them. Now, let's move to the cavalry real quick. You can see my cavalry is securing the hill. I usually do this with my cavalry. I use cavalry to secure positions. Usually, people won't just advance towards your cavalry. As you can see over here, he's just gonna run away because he sees my cavalry coming here. He doesn't want to engage it because he knows I have a cannon, which can give him enfilade fire if he does choose to engage. So I just secure this hill real quick, and this hill over here, well, this continuation of my hill. As you can see, my artillery moves up. Now he does a very, very, very intelligent move here. What he does is he moves his infantry to a position where if I attack him, I'm forced to do enfilade fire. He is going to be able to shoot my sides if I choose to engage this infantry over here. So he keeps moving down until his enfilade fire can no longer help him. He's going to hold here because his enfilade fire won't go any further than this. Now he tries to move up to the right so he can get even more enfilade fire, and he does do a lot of damage, but he chooses not to engage, which is a really bad decision by Alex here. He should have engaged me. He would have done a lot more damage if he engaged me. As you can see, my units were almost half organization. If he charged, I think I would have honestly lost, or at least would have been significantly pushed back in this area. As you can see here, I've captured the hill, and now I'm pushing up with my infantry to deploy them in this area. So that way I have flanked him from 3 sides. The center, which I don't really use to flank, in my opinion, the center is the weakest point of an army, and it should be that way because the center can be easily reinforced as opposed to the flanks. You can see I'm only holding the center with 1 artillery and 1 light infantry to protect it, and there's no need for that, for more than that, I mean, because you can have your cavalry or your infantry reinforce the center very, very easily. Let's continue. Now you see me maneuvering my infantry north because I have a plan. You see, by moving my infantry along this area, which is out of the range of his artillery, I am capable of moving all the way to his point and flanking him. Now, remember this area. It's going to be very important, especially for the final showdown between me and Alex in close quarters. It's going to be very, very, very important. As you can see, I move up my infantry a bit. I just play with them around. You're going to see me charging and going back multiple times. I am just trying to play around with it so I could force his infantry to come out and damage them. You can see I take a lot less damage than him because I don't get enfilade fire. You can see he takes a lot of enfilade fire from this artillery, so he takes a lot more damage. Now, Alex realizes this, and he tries to do something a bit weird, I'll admit. You don't see it quite often. He tries to maneuver with his cavalry to kill my artillery. Now, Alex knows I have my infantry over here protecting it, but he's still trying it anyway. I don't know why he did this. I personally would have never charged unsupported cavalry in an attempt to take an enemy artillery, and you can see how this doesn't work out for him over here. I just maneuver my infantry. I don't let him get close, and he just fails his charge and is forced to retreat. He just took a lot of damage for no reason, and now he's forced to fall back. Now, you can see over here again, he's taking enfilade fire because I keep moving forward and back, so he's forced to keep forming up his infantry constantly. The second thing you can see is I'm deploying my cavalry over here. Now, the plan with my cavalry here is he cannot shoot my cavalry in this area. So I use this to capture a very, very strategically important area. I am now almost completely surrounding him. You can see it. I have almost completely surrounded Alex. And when the final showdown comes, the cavalry is going to sweep in and finish off these half-orc units. It's very important that I have lancers here, because these half-orc units, you'd never expect to finish a unit off with your cannons. It's never going to happen. Cannons are extremely effective, but people can usually just move their infantry back. The way you want to finish units off is a decisive charge, like with these lancers, which you're going to see later are going to play a crucial part in routing most of Alex's army. So you can see here we're approaching the final showdown. My infantry are moving up. I have a very high org except for one unit, and I have enfilade fire here to support me. So I choose to move up and finish Alex off. Now, Alex is very confident he can defend this position. He has a lot of infantry, but Alex doesn't have a lot of cavalry. He has only 3 units here. The rest of his cavalry were forced back. So I have a lot of high health lancers, which will absolutely devastate this whole area of the front. So here you can see I'm doing a lot of enfilade fire on this area. You can see the health is slowly going down as I prepare for the final charge. I move back a bit, again, just to get more enfilade fire in before I charge. Now, again, Alex makes a mistake here. Instead of just having his cavalry try to outmaneuver me, because I'm moving up my infantry, or here, let's say I don't have a lot of, I only have 1 infantry protecting it. He could have maybe gone over here with one of his cavalry and destroyed my cannon. He chooses not to. Now, the second thing you're going to see is my infantry. Throughout this whole game, I've been maneuvering around the cannon so I could reach this exact position. You can see me, I'm very, very close to his point, but he cannot go and help his point because I have troops all across the front. Now, he has 2 choices. Alex can lose his point and lose the game, or he can go back and defend it. But in the case he does defend it, I have a cannon to do enfilade fire. See, this is the key to maneuvering. You always want to force your enemy into an unfavorable position. So you can see he's forced to go back here. And here we go. This is the decisive charge with my lancers. And you can see my hussar here, who is it's the most fast unit in the game. So I like to use it to sometimes snipe cavalry. Now, I never expect my hussar to come back alive. This is only a distraction for the artillery, just long enough for my infantry to deploy. So as you can see, he charges. He does decent damage to the artillery. It's not supposed to rout it. It's just supposed to keep it busy. And now you can see my lancers are charging in to finish off his infantry. Boom, look at that. Look at that damage. He's going to lose his infantry in like the next 2 turns max. You can also see he took a lot of damage over here. This is mostly because I am willing to sacrifice my hussar. I just fire on him with all my artillery, and he takes huge, huge damage to both his artillery and his troops protecting it. Again, you can see me here. I'm pushing. Since he's forced to go back. He takes a lot of damage from my infantry and cannons combined. You can see, you're going to see later, he's going to try to reinforce his front over here with these units, but I just choose to sacrifice my units in an all-out charge just to buy enough time for my army here to clear this area. You can see he tries to do a counterattack with his cavalry, but they're just not as effective. I have almost full morale, and his units are not lancers, so their charge is just not nearly as effective. See, he does a little bit of damage, but it's not enough. There we go. He loses 2 infantry already. My cavalry is capable of refocusing their attention to him. And you're going to see this whole area collapse in a few seconds. Now you can see I have lost my hussar, but it doesn't matter, because I did so much damage with my artillery and infantry who were shooting at the artillery and preventing the artillery from shooting that it's just worth it. And you can see again, he's reinforcing this area and he's losing the north. Now, even if I had lost or at least tied with Alex in this area, I would have still probably won the game just because of this star. Because I outmaneuvered Alex. I forced him into a decisive battle over here while my units here were beating his ass. And see, he moves up and I force him to move back by moving up my infantry. I don't expect my infantry to win. I have half org. I'm just trying to force Alex into a melee which he cannot win. You can see Alex does bring one extra unit to the front, but again, it doesn't matter because the damage I've dealt is already too much. You can see I have brought my light infantry up from my cannons because his cavalry were all either dead or too deep in the front to actually do anything. So you can see I'm going to use my light infantry to reinforce these two fronts. They're going to be very decisive in the upcoming battle. Alex does try a counterattack with his remaining infantry over here, which he does have more of. He does have a lot more infantry than me in this area, which is why I choose to bring up both of my light infantry to reinforce it. Now, Alex does a very big mistake here. Instead of committing to a battle and routing my remaining units here, he chooses to fall back and try to protect his artillery, which is a big mistake because next turn I'm just going to fire at it with my artillery. And see, you don't have to save every single unit. Trying to save every single unit will never work. You can see I'm sacrificing many units. You can see I sacrificed the Hussar. I'm going to sacrifice these units. Sacrificing units to achieve a larger goal is always worth it. Now, you're going to see me commit a very big mistake here. I attack, and then I overreach a bit. Alex has a bit encircled me a bit. You can see I'm going to have to fall back with my cavalry over here. Yep. And I choose to commit my guard to stop him from killing it. Sadly, it's not enough. He's probably going to rout it. And yep. But you see, at the very least, I sacrifice my Lancer to kill his Hussar. Because even if I can't kill his Hussar or leave my Lancer alive, at least I'm going to take it down with me. Now you can see by this point it's over. The infantry from the right has come to reinforce my infantry on the left, and he gets most of his units routed by a combined volley of cannons and muskets. He also committed a very big mistake here by not trying to catch my light infantry, which is going to, as you can see, charge his cannon right here. And Alex knows this is over. I have defeated his army in the north. I've defeated his army in the south. All of my units, well, most of them are still alive, and all of his units have routed, and the battle is over.